Like, ah, whatever. Okay. I'm having a weird hair day today. Okay, so here we are. Yes, I'm still in my jammies. It's actually Mom's Day today, so Friday, me and my boys hang out all day. Well, from like whatever 12:30 on, and so I decided I wasn't gonna get dressed today. I was gonna stay in my gnome jammies, and they've got pockets. It's a nightgown. It's got pockets. Anyway, so let's get started. Today on Feng Shui Friday, we are talking about the family of origin Gua or area. Okay. So this area, if you are looking into your home or into your bedroom, so you are outside or in the doorway and you are looking into the room, into the home, or into the property. And if you're looking at your property, it is at the end of the driveway, meaning where the driveway meets the road, even if it's a dirt road, doesn't matter. And you're sitting there and you're looking into the property, okay? It is the middle of the left side, okay? So the middle of the left side when you are looking into your bedroom, your home office, your um, house, or your property. And you do, usually in traditional feng shui, we do all three areas. We'll do the property, we'll do the home, and we'll do the master bedroom. If it is a business consultation, we'll do the home office. If we're doing, like, if you have an office somewhere else, we will look at the property, the entire building, and then your space as well. Okay, because it all matters. And sometimes we don't have control over the property and the bigger space, but there are sometimes things that we can do there. Okay, sometimes we go hide a little crystal, depends upon what is going on. So the first thing, besides, okay, this now you know where it is, center of the left wall or left side of whatever space you're looking at. The first thing we talk about are the mundane things. Okay, so clear the clutter. It doesn't have to be super organized like you just raided and bought stock in the container store, but there should be some sort of organization. Okay? Like people, I've seen this all the time where people like hang a crystal or hang a wind chime or put a mirror up or some other traditional transcendental, these are called transcendental cures, and there's clutter there. There's broken glass. There's, some window that you can't even see out of, right? There's like, you can't even get to that space. So do the mundane stuff, do the normal stuff, clean as much as you can, get down the cobwebs, like organize the space, pretty reasonably. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be meticulous. For me, it's over here. It is actually, let's see if I can turn it. I've got some wires here that I might not be able to turn it because actually, oh, I'm on Wi-Fi, so I can unplug that one. And my battery's pretty decent, so I can turn it. Okay. So for me in my bedroom, it is my closet. Okay. So it's like right from this, like half the closet. See where I'm going? Right here is my family of origin ancestors. Okay. So you see, I have nothing there. There used to be something up here. I forgot what it was a long time ago. I have nothing there. But inside my closet is pretty organized. I've got bins of fabric in there under my clothes, and I've got books, and they're all nice and neat and organized. They are. Trust me. I'm not going to open it. But that area, and then as you see, my dresser is my prosperity corner, and it is a little bit of messy, but I do have my money bowl. You see my money bowl right there. I've got some other things there. That piece that I took down from over here, you still see the tape, has been moved there just for safekeeping. That's going to actually go into children and creativity. We'll talk about that when we get to that. But this space right here, dang it, right there, where are we? Right here. All right, so it's kind of an odd space. So first of all, when I do anything, whether it's feng shui, astrology, whatever, I look at the obvious. Like, let's talk about this. So for me, now mind you, this wall is, that area is sort of the room. Like the closet is the room, part of the room, but it's not like part of the room as in like it's an indentation. There's the whole wall is solid. So some people would say that the the closet is the wall. Some people would say the wall inside the closet is the line, the room line. It's up to you because it's the whole wall. Because right here, as you can see, there's this panel right here is the hot water heater, and like I can get into it if I want to. I consider the wall of the closet, meaning the wall inside the closet, to be the boundary. It doesn't really matter. The room is small. It would still count wherever I put something. And I'm not going to put stuff in the closet because I already have stuff in the closet. Although I could do a placement in the closet. So if you want, this is a big thing. In Feng Shui, other than cleanliness and decluttering and fixing broken things and, you know, throwing out things that you're not using or are broken, which is the mundane stuff, another part of it is, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. Not making it look like a feng shui shop threw up in your house. Okay? Like we talked about, some of the things that I have for feng shui do not look like anything you think, right? Like I have this piece here that's got my jewelry on it, right? That is there, has a function because it holds my jewelry. It's a pretty piece. I talked about that last week when I talked about the self and identity and knowledge and wisdom. But it's also a feng shui placement. So don't go buying red ribbons and feng shui coins and crystals and all this paraphernalia and make your house look like a feng shui consultant threw up all over it. That is not feng shui, okay? Unless your home has an Asian Oriental theme, then it kind of makes sense, okay? So you really want things not to be freaking obvious, okay? That's just like putting your vision board up on your front door. You wouldn't do that. And if you do that, I highly recommend you take it down. These things are private. These things are personal. And you don't want people looking at them and putting the evil eye or their funky mojo on it, or just in general seeing these things that are private and personal. These are kind of like your little diary that you're putting in your home and telling the universe, I want this. So we don't, again, there are some things, there's a situation called fighting doors. This is where like a closet and a door, two doors like open onto each other. Whatever. Anyway, two doors that open onto each other and hit. There is a red ribbon cure for that. If you have that, let me know. It's like $9. I'll let you know what it is. I'll send you the PDF. And yes, there's red ribbons involved. You leave them, but usually it's an inside door. It's not somewhere where you're going to see it. Okay, it's like a pantry door with a kitchen. It's a bathroom with a closet. It's something like that where it's not going to be super freaking obvious, okay? So you don't want your feng shui cures or placements. Cures are things that we're remedying. Obviously, like the cure says, a placement is kind of like a vision board item, a single item as a vision board, okay? So you definitely don't want people to see these things. If I can walk into your home and see your feng shui cures and placements, sorry, not sorry, you did it wrong, okay? It just is. Sometimes, yes, we do hang a crystal or a wind chime or a mirror. Those are called the aspirin of feng shui because there's nothing else we can do, right? But it shouldn't look obvious. It should look perfectly in place. We do not put some random mirror in a corner because it's dark. We might put an uplight and a plant, okay? Again, it's case by case and it needs to make sense for your space, okay? So let's talk about the obviousness, okay? So my family of origin, so let's define what family of origin is. Let me backtrack real quickly. There is no script here. It's all off the cuff, right? Family of origin is your generation, like your siblings, your cousins, and everybody behind you, all right, before you. So your parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, great-grandparents, all the way back to the beginning of your lineage, okay? On both sides, okay? So that's family of origin. Why is it important? It's really important. Well, it's actually really timely because we just moved out of Pisces, which is the past, and we're moving into Aries, forward motion, future. But what I like to do with Feng Shui and family of origin if this is a space that I feel needs some tending to, is calling in gifts from our ancestors. And it could be inheritance, actual money, because we are talking about money right now, but we'll talk about other things. It could be ancestral gifts, like psychic abilities, other abilities, mechanical abilities, singing abilities, whatever. Like, I know for me, when I was learning how to knit, and I've shared this story many times, and I was getting really frustrated, I asked my grandmother. My grandmother would just sit there and just, oh, she crocheted, but she also knit. Mainly she crocheted, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, come on. Like, used to do it with your freaking almost eyes closed. She used to watch American soap operas and like read the subtitles, and she'd just be like this. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, you need to help me. I know this is in our lineage. When my ex left and I started, cutting my boys' hairs with the clippers, I called in my ancestors because they had sheep, and I was just like, I know this is in my lineage. Like, share this knowledge. It's kind of like the Matrix, where Neo's like, upload pilot program. Can we do that to a certain extent? I believe we can. I've done it. I know I was sewing my daughter a Halloween costume when she was 4, and I was really struggling it because the pattern was just like weird. And then I called in my mom, who was a seamstress, and I was just like, Mom, help. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, sew the hood on, put a zipper in the front, make it like footy jammies. And I'm like, yes. And I know that was her speaking to me. Okay. So this is also the area of mediumship too. So I didn't think about that, but I am going to be starting in April a inner knowing mentorship. It's going to be a small group where we will talk about the different psychic abilities. We're going to look at your human design and your astrology to see where your gifts might lie. And we're also going to do practice. So every week we're going to be practicing a different skill. You'll be in groups. I'll be doing a demonstration. It's going to be a really cool program or mentorship. So if you're interested, it is $397 for 9 weeks. Okay. Super, super low price, because I think this is so important. Every time I do a reading, intuition keeps coming up. And I know it might be because it was Pisces season, but really intuition is one of your greatest gifts. And this is one way to cultivate them. So anyway, back to this. So let's look at the obvious for my ancestry is behind closed doors. And I think that is so tongue-in-cheek. And I really feel like the universe is a bit of a sarcastic old lady, okay? So, like, the stuff about my lineage, right? So if you don't know, my mom, I was born out of wedlock. Let's just be fucking honest. Who cares nowadays, right? She was dating this man. She found out that he was married, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So things happening behind closed doors. There's a lot of dirty secrets that families have, right? So it's like, for me, how do I cultivate things? Well, one thing I could do is I could take the doors off. Now, mind you, I rent, and this side of the door is the slider that's at the top is broken right here. And the thing that's at the bottom that keeps the door from wobbling is broken. And I have the parts to do it, but I haven't done it because it's like one of those million to do things that like I just never get to. And my ex was supposed to do and never did. And then now it's on me, and I'm like, whatever, I can't be bothered. So I could fix that, or I could take the doors down, although I'm not sure where I would put them. And, I rent, and I don't know how long I want to stay here. So I could take them down and put a curtain. The litter box is over here in the self area, so I kind of really don't want to deal with a curtain because my cat Toby is not a fan of curtains. He had a hard time with the new curtain over here. He's like, how do I get to my little hidey hole cat stand that he's on, right? The other thing is I could put something up, hold on, trying to orient myself here, up here, right? But also that feels out of reach. You want to think about the freaking obvious shit. So if I put something up there that I can't reach, well, I want to think about the symbology. I could put like pictures up there of my grandparents. Mind you, this is my bedroom, so you really don't want to be putting pictures of your parents, your grandparents, and things like that, right? This is kind of creepy. To me, like, that's not the energy you want. This is a room that is meant to be about relationship, right? However, this is also my home office, okay? And you could do whatever you want. You just have to think about it, right? Do you want to wake up and see your freaking grandparents up there? So that's something I could do. I could also do something like, I am Greek. I could probably put something like a picture of the 12 gods of Olympus, okay? Because that's part of my heritage, right? So they're looking down upon me. They're raining blessings. The story you tell when you set your intention is really, really important. You can kind of twist anything into kind of being good, except clutter, broken shit, and all that stuff. Um, I don't know what I'm going to put there. Okay. I'm thinking I have these pair of wooden bamboo wind chimes that I'm thinking of putting there. Um, but I don't know what I'm going to put there. So you really want to be mindful. So part of it is, let's talk about the intention. So we've talked about that area, right? You could put money there. Like I could literally put some money. Actually, in my money bowl, I have Greek money, which it's they use the euro, so they don't use that anymore. So I could take that and I could put it in a red envelope and put it behind a picture up top there, or put it inside the closet, right? Tape it to the inside of the door, whatever, or on the wall that is the outside wall, and set an intention that of inheritance, right? Money coming to me from my ancestors, or money coming to me from the things that my ancestors have taught me, have the gifts and skills that they've given me, right? That ancestral epigenetic knowledge, right? So I could do that. That's something that's, you know, pretty, I don't want to say reasonable, but pretty in line, right? I do have a piece of property that I inherited from my grandmother because my mom predeceased her. So there is this property in Greece that's mine. It's the middle of nowhere. Like, I don't know if it has value. Um, I have to go there if I want to sell it or do anything with it. So that's kind of like, it's kind of there, but kind of not there. It's not really benefiting my life right now. It's in the middle of the mountains. So it's not like I could go there and, I mean, I could go there and build a house and live in this tiny little town that there's more goats and sheep than there are humans. Um, but that's not my cup of tea. I want to live on the water, right? So, you know, I could put the papers from that, the papers that were sent to me that I needed to, you know, take care of, my grandmother's will. I have a copy of my grandmother's will. I could put that in there and say, you know, this, I don't know. I don't know what the intention is there. So this is something where, like with Feng Shui, you really want to think about what you're doing. You want to think about, and also like right now, I'm just giving you like a tiny piece of the puzzle, right? When we really do Feng Shui, we look at the chi flow. How does the energy move around the room, around the home and the property? We want to make sure that it's moving in a clockwise direction, that there's flow. Like we'll use different sort of things in order to get the energy to move, right? Whether it's the furniture placement or the imagery that we put up. You want to look at clutter and disorganization and dirty things and broken things and either fix them or throw them out. That's really big in Feng Shui. And then you want to look at what are your intentions. We also look at the elemental balance. I've talked about this before, where prosperity, again, this is my prosperity area. That's a wood area. I'm trying to remember what family of origin is. I think it's an earth area. It's either wood or earth. I don't remember. I don't work with this area a lot. Let me find my phone. But I felt like it was something that needed to be talked about more because it is an important area. And I feel like it's a missed opportunity if we don't work with this area. Again, you know, I don't want to say taking advantage of, because we think of the word advantage as a bad thing. But it is, this map is useless. Oh, it's wood. Okay, it's wood. So it's a wood area. So that's some place where I could put some water. What does water look like? Glass, imagery of glass. I could, the wind chimes would be fine because they're wood, right? We don't want to put metal there because metal cuts wood. So we're talking about the elemental cycle. Again, I have to sit with it. A lot of times in areas like this, you want to put something personal. So maybe I would go and look and the first thing that came to me is my mom had this, like, literally this big of a radio, and it looks like an old school, like, huge cabinet radio. I don't know how to describe it, but it is like this kind of sort of cathedral shape. And I'm sure it still works, but I don't know how I would put that in that area considering it's a closet, right? So, and then what is the symbology, right? So maybe it's listening to the voices of the past, right? Like allowing my ancestors to guide me, okay? Um, okay, I'm going to share this. There's actually a point, a chakra point back here, and depending upon what system you look at, some call this the 8th chakra, some people call it the 12th. It doesn't really not matter what the number is, but it's at the base of your spine, right? Well, it's actually where, like, right in the middle of, your neck in the back. There's like a little, divot here, like not the base of your spine, but like between your spine and the top of your back, called the zeal point, Zeal. So this is where our connection to our lineage is. So this is a spot where I constantly put like essential oils, because I want to activate that. So this is where like I weave a lot of things into it. Like if right now I have a special offer of a reclaim and reset session. So this is where you're actually looking at what are the desires that are coming up this year and picking one area that you feel like you're constantly reinventing the wheel. You're trying to figure it out. You feel like you get a handle on it and things shift. It could be money, it could be health, it could be relationship. It doesn't matter what area you want to look at. Life area, not feng shui area. And then we're going to look at the feng shui of your space, mainly your home if it's personal, your home office if you have one and it's business, and really reset the space so that it supports that desire. So coming up with cures and placements and shifting things around in order to really support you. Okay, so if you're interested in that, DM me the word reclaim. It's $333. It's 90 minutes. It's done on Zoom. There's a lot of prep work that I do beforehand, and I will also be looking at your Chinese astrology and how it interacts with the year of the fire horse and what are the things that are supported by the fire horse for you this year. Okay, it doesn't mean those are the areas you need to focus on, but those are the areas that you know would be beneficial for you to look at. Again, you always have free will. You can do whatever you want. So that's something where we can really look at your space and be like, okay, maybe we do want to activate family of origin, because I do feel like this is an underrepresented area. This is an area where people want to put stuff in their prosperity corner. People want to put stuff in their relationship corner. People want to put stuff in career, right? They want to focus on those areas, but it's like it's kind of like last week where we talked about identity. Your identity, who you think you are, really is the bottom, is the foundation. Your beliefs about yourself. What do you believe about yourself? Okay. What have you been taught about yourself? What is the conditioning and programming that people have put into your head? Like my son, my 13-year-old today was saying something like, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm lazy. And I'm like, stop saying that, because you're not lazy. He's like, oh, it's just an expression. I'm like, yeah, but if you say that over and over again, you start to believe that you are a lazy person. And he's not a lazy person. Okay, we all have off days. We all have days that we're tired or need rest or whatever, but he's not a lazy person. But this is the stuff I'm talking about. If you were constantly told that you're lazy, you're selfish, you're greedy, you're stupid, what's wrong with you, all the stuff, you start to, at some subconscious level, you start to believe that. So that's why I always start with identity. I want to see what that space is saying about you, right? And then I would definitely move into family of origin. What are the things there that we can cultivate? If your family, like my family was land rich, still is land rich, okay? I'm not land rich. So that's something that I could put in there. I can ask my ancestors to help me find my dream home. So there we go, right? I could put a picture of a home there, okay? And now, mind you, there are challenges in this space, obviously. We talked about them being behind closed doors, right? Like if I put it up here, up here, it kind of feels high and unattainable. If putting something on the doors doesn't, well, I could, because like this side is my clothes and this side is the litter box. So I could put something on the door itself. I don't know. That's something that I could play with, right? I could also take those wind chimes and hang them from the ceiling, right above here, and then maybe the wind chimes have like a oval shape, like a teardrop shape, like paddle at the bottom or a piece of wood at the bottom that is the kind of clanker. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, and I could put a picture of like a house on that. So there you go. This is where you kind of get creative in feng shui, like DIY, like you know arts and crafts is very welcomed, right? Something that you've created yourself, like a vision board is something that I could put there. Actually, there's another idea, right? So I could do I used to do vision boards of like my dream home, and I can take pages out of that and put it on the inside wall, like the wall inside the closet, because I don't want to put it on my closet, or I could put it on the closet doors, right? This is my room. Nobody comes in here. The only time people see it is if I show it on video like this. So I could get a bunch of images of my dream house and tape them onto the closet door and um make that my home vision board and ask my ancestors to help me guide me to my dream home. So there you go. Sometimes it's like, and that's part of the job of the feng shui called so the job of a feng shui consultant. Like myself, I am a certified feng shui consultant or practitioner, as we call them. And it's my job to help you really unearth what's going on, right? What is it you truly desire? Not what you think you should want, but what do you really want? And I really do want, like, not homestead in like the chickens. Like, I don't want to get up every morning and have to go outside in the winter and tend to animals. Okay, I got enough on my plate with my children and the 3 cats, right? Although if I had a partner and they were up for that and they were hygienic to my standards, because I'm a germaphobe, then that's great. All more power to you. You go feed the animals, come home, come inside, take a shower, and come cuddle back into bed, and I'll warm you up. So that might work, right? That would work. But like a homestead where like I have bees, I have a garden, I have a greenhouse, I have a pool or a pond or a lake or something because I love the water. We're not too far away from the ocean because I do like the ocean. Like a saltwater pool would be like really chef's kiss. So these are some of the things that I could put there. Now, traditionally, something like that would be put in your prosperity corner. So what is it that you want? What is it that you need money for, right? And we'll be talking about prosperity in another week. I'm not sure what week we're going to be doing that, but at some point we'll be talking about the prosperity corner, which is again where my lovely puzzle is. But you also want to think outside the box. So for me, I already own a property in Greece. Again, it's small, it's landlocked, it's not really useful for my needs, but it doesn't mean that I can't call my ancestors and say, hey, I really appreciate that. We're not going to be, ungrateful about it, but we're going to be like, I would really like property here or property in a better location in Greece. And who knows what can transpire from that. So this is where like one of the biggest things that I can share with you, besides doing the regular mundane work of cleaning and decluttering your space and not making your space look like a feng shui shop just threw up in it, is don't be attached to the outcome. Okay. And what that means is Mike Dooley, I think, says it best, is like not worrying about the how. The how is not your job. But also in feng shui, we take it a step further and it's like, don't be attached to the outcome. So the outcome of me putting stuff up there for my dream house could be finding a partner that owns the exact house I want. Like literally could have designed it better. Okay. Or is selling their house and looking to buy a house. So we buy a house together. It could be winning the lottery and buying my own home. It could be getting a message saying that someone has passed and I've inherited money or a property or a piece of land or something like that. It could be, I don't know. It could come in so many different ways. Okay. So this is what it's like. Don't be attached to the outcome. And it might not be all those things that I talked about. It could be like that, I move into a like lakeside or beachside community and they have a pool and they have a greenhouse, right? And so it doesn't necessarily mean that those things are located on my property. It just means that I have access to these things, okay? So we don't get attached to all the things. It does not mean that you can't have, and I highly recommend that you have, sorry, there's an ant. That you don't have your non-negotiables list, right? So let me kind of back up. So even though right now my budget is not conducive to buying a house, okay, let's just be really honest about that. So I don't have a down payment. My business is not, well, it is consistent, but anyway, let's put that stuff aside. So right now, I'm not in a place to get a mortgage and buy a house at this very moment. Doesn't mean that things can't change later on this afternoon or tomorrow or whatever, right? But if I were to do this, which I feel like this is the kind of conversation that I needed to have in order to figure out what I actually wanted, right? I would treat this as like home shopping. So when I'm looking for images to put up there to symbolize this dream house that I want my ancestors to help me acquire, right? Move into, right? You don't have to say buy. This is part of the how, right? Where Mike Dooley talks about the how. You don't have to talk about like inheritance or I want to win the lottery and buy it. That's all how stuff. Or a partner that has this particular house, that's the how. We don't worry about that. And in Feng Shui, we don't worry about the outcome, right? We say this is where I'm going to. These are my non-negotiables. Okay? So it needs to have a bedroom for me and each of my children. Even though my daughter doesn't live with me, I'd like there to be a room for her. So that's a minimum of four bedrooms. Well, apparently 5, because that's the fingers I put up. A home office for me and a workshop where I can have my sewing and my beads and my things like that, right? I really want a sunroom, like on the back of the house. Like, windows on 3 sides, like either French doors or sliding doors or something like that. And it needs to be, actually, it would be really nice if the ceiling was windows too. And it's got to be 4 season. Like I need to be out there all the time. I imagine there being like an armchair or like a chaise lounge that I can go and have my morning coffee every day, right? And it's really like literally right off the kitchen. Like I'm sitting on my kitchen counter, my kitchen sink, and it's right there, right? I want a butler's pantry, right? But like coming in from the outside, like there's a side door, you go into the pantry, the washer and dryer are there. Preferably one of those fancy ones from Europe where it's a washer dryer all in one. They take up less space. They're more eco-friendly, blah, blah, blah. There's a sink so I can wash my groceries and whatever I need to do. There's shelves. There's a freezer. There's an extra refrigerator. Like, trust me, I've thought about this. So, like, there's a whole visual there, right? So anyway, so these are the non-negotiables, right? There needs to be a space where I can bring my groceries in and tend to them in a hygienic way. There needs to be a sunroom, okay? It doesn't need to be perfect. It could be just the space for one, right? The property needs to be safe, that my children can go outside and play, and I don't need to be like worrying about neighbors or cars driving by, right? Like it doesn't mean like I'm just gonna be like, get the fuck out, but being able to let them like play outside without me having to like be out there with them, right, all the time. It needs to have 4 to 5 bedrooms, right? The master bedroom needs to have a master bathroom. Luxurious clawfoot tub would be, oh my god, chef's kiss, right? And then my daughter's bathroom would need to have, my daughter's room would have to have her own bathroom because she's an adult and she deserves that. The boys could share one, kind of Brady Bunch, if you know what I mean. The other bedroom, I don't know, doesn't matter. They could share a bathroom, whatever. They have their own bathroom. There needs to be a half bath down by the kitchen because, we need to go when we need to go. A living room with what's called a masonry heater fireplace. Trust me, I did all this research when I bought my first home with my first husband, and it's basically a fireplace that's, nope, I'm unalive, please leave the bedroom. It's it's rounded in the back. It's not flat. So what happens is the heat circulates. It does not go up the chimney. It comes back into the room. It's a thing. It's just amazing. And then there's fireplaces where they're like kind of a cut through so that it's in the middle, and then like the room behind it and the room on this side get the heat. I think those are amazing too. Okay. Like I've really thought about this. So these are things that like these, what are my non-negotiables? So like I would treat this as if I was actually going to look up on realtor.com or one of these things and make my list. 4 to 5 bedrooms, uh, 3 to 4.5 bathrooms, sunroom, property. I do not want a traditional lawn. I want what's called steppable ground cover, or something that like you can walk on, but it's not a lawn that, you know, depletes resources. It needs to be at least, you know, 30, no further than 30 minutes away from the ocean. You know, these sort of things, right? Needs to get Amazon Prime and Walmart delivery. You know, those sort of things. I could have bees on it, because that I would love to do. Other animals I'm not sure about. That's just a little bit more work than I'm willing to put in at this stage of my life. Space for an actual greenhouse that would be attached to the house so that I could go out into it in the middle of winter and not have to go outside. Place for a garden. Place for, you know, I'd like to have mature fruit trees, or a place to put fruit trees. Like, this is what I'm talking about. So you would think that this is like, I'm talking about like house shopping, but it is. Like, feng shui is not about these abstract, like, I'd like a house. No, what the fuck do you want in the house? The clearer you are and the more specific you are when you set your intentions, when you do your placement, whatever it is. It could be a single object that you're going to do, or turning your closet door into a vision board for your dream house that your ancestors are going to guide me to manifesting. You really want to think about the specifics. And you do need to be open to the outcome. And you do need to be open to how it's going to come to you. How are the resources going to come to you? How are you going to end up living in this house, right? Or whatever it is you're looking for, right? You could call in your ancestors to help guide you on getting in touch with your intuition. Maybe one of those is signing up for my Inner Knowing mentorship. Hint, hint, wink, wink. There'll be details coming out about that soon. If you're interested, definitely send me a DM. It's going to be only $397 for 9 weeks, and it will be like, you'll be getting some instruction, you'll be getting demonstration, and you'll get to practice with each other. Okay. And we'll be practicing all the things. Okay. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, mediumship, all those things. Okay. And some of those you'll be better at, some and not as, you know, tuned into others, but I think just practicing and playing and getting curious to see how your intuition speaks to you will be a game changer for you. Okay. This is about figuring out what psychic abilities you have, not about learning all of them and feeling like you're behind because you can't do all of them. I don't do all of them. Okay. I've had experiences with clairalience, which is smell, and clairgustafson. I've had a couple of experiences, but those are not my forte. Okay. So anyway, so there's so many things that you can play with this area, but I want you to really think about what makes sense for you. What is the inheritance that you want to cultivate from your ancestors? Because that's really what this is about in this area. It could be money. It could be money that was owed to you. It could be a property. It could be spiritual gifts. It could be actual physical skills. Like I talked about the sheep shearing, right? When I was cutting my boy's hair. And the first time it was like terrifying. I thought I was going to hurt them. And then the second time I'm like, oh my God, this is so freaking easy. And now they've decided they don't want haircuts. So now we're going to have to do something else. So they don't want to be shaved down. So now I'm going to have to actually learn how to cut hair. Although I cut my own hair and I don't think it's all that bad. But anyway, so my mom used to cut her own hair. So again, thinking about what are the gifts, skills, and talents that your ancestors, your your siblings and before you have, that you want to bring into your life, and putting something there as a symbol of that. So that's what we do when we set the intention. This is the 3 secret reinforcements ritual that I talked about. And if you're interested in acquiring that, it's $9. It's a PDF and a video, and it walks you exactly how to set a intention. And the 3 secret reinforcements ritual it really amplifies your placement. Like the late Professor Ling Young used to say, 130%. I think it's the make it or break it. Like, I find that I've done placements and cures and things in Feng Shui without the ritual because I'm in a rush, because I don't feel like doing it or whatever. And they kind of, they'll manifest, but not to the level that something will manifest when I do the 3 secret reinforcements, okay? So that's definitely something that if you're interested in that, either drop me a comment or send me a DM, and I will hook you up with that. Okay. So family of origin, again, is what are the gifts? What are the ancestral blessings? What are the inheritances? And again, it's not just money, but it can be money. Let's say that you were to inherit a piece of property. And this isn't about like, I want this person to pass so that I can inherit their money. It's saying that I want what's rightfully mine. And this is great, definitely a place where if you were wronged, if you were denied your inheritance, like I was in certain areas, certain things, I'm not going to go into the whole story. This is a place where you can ask your ancestors to intercede on your behalf to have yourself be compensated. Okay, have that money or property or jewelry or whatever it is returned to you. Okay. The other thing, I'm just going to mention this because I actually saw this in a pagan group, is if you have a deadbeat dad, your ex is a deadbeat dad and not paying their child support or whatever, this is a place where you could do a placement to call in his ancestors to haunt his ass and make him pay his child support. Yeah, you could definitely do something there. Okay. And you could actually put some money there, or you can put, actually what would be a great thing, and this is why I love doing these lives, because as a air sign, as an Aquarius, my intuition comes through my words, and it comes through responding to things like that, these kind of sort of conversations, these trains of thoughts, right? This is where I work best. So what I saw was making a list of all your child's needs and the dollar amount. So let's say your child's needs are $1,000 a month. That dad should be paying you $500 a month. So making a list, writing the $1,000, tallying it up, saying, okay, it's $1,000 a month for my son or whatever, to provide their needs and some of their wants. Be generous, okay? You don't want to be like bare minimum, and then be like, put that person's, the father's full name and their date of birth underneath that, and put so-and-so owes $500 a month. And then placing it there, obviously you want it hidden. You can put it behind a picture, or like in my case, I would put it inside the closet, right, on that back wall, or I can put it on the inside of the closet door or something like that, and ask his ancestors, right, to make him pay his child support. Just something to think about. Okay. So there are many, many ways where we can, and this is where, like, I really do, like I said before, I love to combine things. So if you decide to when I've only got 2 spots in the month of March for these reclaim and reset sessions. So this is where we're going to be looking at your Chinese astrology, what is your Chinese zodiac, and how it will be how it is impacted by this year of the fire horse. We're going to be having conversation, just like I sort of talked myself through it, coached myself through it, of what is your deepest desire for this year? What is the area of your life that you're looking to focus on? What is the thing that you just feel like you never completely figure out? And then talking about what cures and placements that you can put in your space, whether it's your whole home, I usually work with the master bedroom, unless we're talking about business, then we'll be doing home office or whatever your office space is. And what are the things that you can place there? What are the exact intentions? I usually will give you intentions, or we'll talk them through so that you know exactly what you're going to say when you get there. I also recommend that if you get there and whatever we've decided doesn't feel completely in alignment, to just, I don't want to say wing it, do it intuitively. Okay, so that's what I do. I'll write down the gist of what I want to say when I set my intention and do the 3 secret reinforcements ritual. But when I get there, sometimes something else will come through. Okay, so I did a bunch of these sessions, well, something similar a while ago, and I would give people the intention, and I would be like, this is just a guideline. This is just a starting point. Okay, you don't have to use those exact words, but this is the direction that you should think about going in. I invite you to think about these words as you're doing your placement, right? And think about what your intention is. So I will help you come up with your intentions. We will come up with at least 3 placements. Usually we do 3 areas when we do a heart's desire. So in this case of the dream home, I would do the family of origin, obviously, which we've been talking about today. I would do prosperity, okay, because money is involved. Right? Money could be involved. I'm not focusing completely on the how, but, and then I would probably do helpful people, okay, because helpful people would be, people helping me move, people helping me find this house or partner, or helping me claim my inheritance in Greece, which I've already claimed that property. That's not an issue. But those are the 3 that I would focus on, okay, in my case, okay. But you can do stuff in just one area. I know people that will go and put stuff in their prosperity corner, and it does help. It does help. But when you do the 3 areas that are most related, it just takes things to another level. And then you do the 3 secret reinforcements ritual, and now we're 3xing everything. Okay. So when you do 3 areas, you're increasing your manifestation ability, your results 3 times. When you do the 3 secret reinforcements, now you're going 3 to the 3rd power, which is an even higher level, right? Things come in faster, things come in more easily. Synchronicities line up so much more quicker when you do the 3 secret reinforcements ritual. If you do the reclaim and reset session, you will get that for free. I always give that to my Feng Shui clients for free, because that's part of the process. You need those instructions in order to do all your intentions and things like that. So that is family of origin. Okay. I know it's kind of like a murky subject, but this is anything that is owed to you, any sort of inheritance. These are your ancestral gifts. You can also say ancestral curses lie here. So if you feel like there is some sort of pattern that has been repeating in your family, you can do a cure for that. You can do a placement to be like, this pattern stops with me. Now, obviously, you need to also take action and be mindful. Like I know for my mom, she was stuck in a narcissistic, toxic, financially, verbally, and emotionally abusive relationship with my stepfather. And she did not she died. That was the way that she got out of it. I chose to ask mine to leave. Okay. So it's not just Feng Shui. It's also taking action in your life. What Feng Shui does is it helps to create a harmonious environment to support you. Okay. It's also a visual reminder. So, that wallpapering my closet with my dream house, is something that I'll see every day, and that's feeding my subconscious. Like, this is the house that I want. This is the house that I'm going to be living in. Not I want. This is the house that I'm going to be living in. Look, this is that I've picked out the toilet. I've picked out the closet. I've picked out the curtains. You can even do that. Just if this is something you're looking to do, if this resonates with you, act like you're going shopping. Put things from catalogs up there, right? Really make it real, because the more real it feels to your subconscious and your nervous system, it feels safe. You're talking about it. Yeah, I'm moving into my house in September. I found my dream house. I'm moving in September, and I don't know where September came from. I know my lease is up at the end of September, so maybe that's what it is. The more real you can make it, because feng shui isn't just about one time you're done. The reason that we do placements, which is that object or the vision board or whatever, is so that you can constantly be seeing it. You're walking by it, and it is triggering your subconscious and saying, this is my reality. This is my future. This is what I'm creating. Okay? As opposed to a vision board that you put in a drawer and you never see again. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. If you are interested in one of these reclaim and reset sessions, you can contact me directly by DM. And if this resonates with you, if there is something that, like I said, that really just was like, wow, that was really interesting, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear what you guys are getting out of this series. Just a reminder, this is part 2. Part 1 was about identity and the self. Next week, I think we're going to talk about prosperity. I think we're going to go there. It's a toss up between prosperity and life purpose, which is career. I think we're going to go to prosperity next week. You can, comment below which one you would prefer to see. The other thing that once we're done with this 9-part series, what I'd like to do, this is something that I used to do a long time ago, when I used to do a weekly or monthly newsletter, was if anyone has a specific area or specific desire that they would like me to share live. So what that looks like is you would send me your information, DM me, and you would send me your floor plan, and I would talk about it live. Obviously, I'm not going to say your name or any details about where you live or anything like that, but I will be sharing some of the situation of, like, what is it that you're looking to create. I will be sharing a picture, like, I'd be holding up a picture of your floor plan and talking about, this client. We'll give you an alias. Betty wants, to manifest a new partner. This is what her bedroom looks like. The relationship area is over here. There's a lamp there, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So if you're interested in that, that would be, in like 2 months, because we've got 7 more, sections or areas to do, in feng shui in this series. But after that, I would love to start. So it'll be like a free mini consultation, but it will be done live. Okay. So, right here. So if you're interested in that and you can wait, then, DM me and let me know that you want to do one of those. But it would be like a mini thing. It would be just kind of like an overview. I will download the video that I create for the live, and then I will send that to you. So that will be your guidance. Normally when I do, like with these reclaim and reset sessions, while we are talking, I have a Google Doc open and I am writing things down. I'm writing down my insights. You'll also get the recording, of course, but I'm writing down the placements, the cures, all the things that you'll be doing so that you have a checklist. So you don't have to go listen to the recording. Obviously, you'll get the recording and you can go back and listen to it all you want. But I find it helpful to make a checklist, and to also, like, at the top, I'll write the insights. We'll talk about what your heart's desire is. We'll talk about what are the areas that we're going to be focusing on, the 3 areas that we're going to do cures and placements in, and then the actual to-do items that you'll have to do. And it'll be a checklist, and I'll send that to you. I'll email that to you so that you can just get started, right? So for me, what I would do is I would talk about the closed doors. I would talk about, like, hey, let's play with this concept of having my ancestors help me reclaim my inheritance by helping me manifest a house. So what am I to do items? Well, one would definitely be put the Greek money there. Like, there was financial inheritance that was denied to me that I did not get, for long story. So taking that Greek money and putting it into a feng shui red envelope and putting it in the closet and setting an intention that the money that was denied to me, that I did not get, comes back to me in a different way. right? So that's the first one that I would do. The second one is I would definitely either find a single image or multiple images of my dream house and put them either on the outside of the closet door so I could see them, or on the inside, or make a take a piece of, cardstock and make a vision board. And maybe I would put that, like, I can see half the wall inside the closet. Maybe I would put it in there because I don't want people to see it. Hanging the wind chimes there to bring in the, wind chimes are air element. So helping not improve, but turn up my connection with my ancestors through mediumship, through clairaudience, for them to speak to me directly to help me in this situation, right? So that's three things, right? And right now I'm just talking about family of origin. So the Greek money there to bring in the lost inheritance, the images of house for them to help me, move into my dream house this year, and then the wind chimes so that they can speak to me, to guide me, right? To connect with me. All right. So, yeah. So that would be my to-do list. Okay. And then obviously doing the 3 secret reinforcements and creating an intention for each of those items. Now, in traditional feng shui, we would do one placement in each area. I'm doing 3 placements in one area. And they have 3 different intentions, right? One is lost financial inheritance. One is help me manifest the house, because I was supposed to inherit my mother's house and I didn't because my stepfather sold it behind my back, etc., etc. And then 3, to connect with them so that they can guide me through clairaudience and mediumship. So they're technically 3 different intentions. And then I'm going to do other things in other areas of the room to reinforce those. Because like I said, we usually do 3 areas for each intention so that they support each other. So I would probably do something in helpful people, and I would probably do something in prosperity for all of that, right? So I love doing the Google Doc because it just makes it easier, because a lot of times people will leave a session and they'll be like, oh my God, you gave me such amazing information, but I don't know what the fuck to do. And I don't remember what you told me. So I create you a checklist so you don't have to worry about it. And I do it in the session. So at the end of the session, all I'm doing is sending you the link and I don't have to have homework. And you can get started immediately if you want. So if you're interested in one of those reclaim and reset sessions, like I said, I've got 2 slots for the month of March. They are $333. It's a 90-minute Zoom session. You'll send me your floor plan. I'll give you directions on how to do that, and your birthday, so I can run your Chinese zodiac astrology, and then we'll book your time, and then we'll get going. There's a bunch of things that I need to do behind the scenes, and then we'll get on the call, and we'll talk about what your heart's desire is and what the year of the fire horse is highlighting for you and supporting for you. Like for me, it's visibility. Okay. Which is so interesting because I had already had this plan of like starting to do more lives and starting to show up more consistently on social media, but on a schedule that works with my rhythm, not every single day and not some arbitrary days, but I'm on Tuesday where I do the oracle reading, and then I'm on Friday for feng shui. And I might pop in occasionally in between if I feel called, but those are the 2 days that I have committed to showing up. Plus I do the Worthy Wednesday spell every Wednesday, okay? And post my sacred ritual items. So that's another thing you could ask for the ancestors. Be like, you know what? I feel like life's rhythm, the rhythm of this capitalistic society we live in, does not align for me. It is not supportive. Help me find my rhythm. So this is where like you could put a piece of music. You could put something to do with music to highlight rhythm, right? So there's so many things that you can do. Okay. All right. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like one of those reclaim and reset sessions, message me. Also, if you would like the 3 secret reinforcements ritual, that's $9. Message me and I will get you set up with that. And I will catch you next Friday for Feng Shui Friday. You guys have a great weekend and take care. Bye.